In this video, I'm going to go over how to do a 3D tracker using the camera in After Effects. And this is something you can do to help position a piece of text or a photograph in a particular way and have it stay with your footage. So, in this project, you're totally welcome to use outside footage. So I know some folks are thinking about using maps, for example. So here, just to show you how this looks, I have attached this is drone footage, and I've attached a piece of text to where this house is. And you'll see that as we zoom away, it stays in that same position and it gets a little bit bigger as we get closer. And this is a pretty straightforward process. So I'm going to do this from scratch just so you can see how it's done. So I'm going to delete out all my shapes and I'm going to re-import my video just to see how this looks. I'm just going to resave this scene so I don't mess it up. And so what I'm going to do is double click, go to where my project is, and let's get this one. And when you bring it in, it'll come in as an MP4, and this is just footage. And I'm going to drag and drop it into a composition. And you see that when I start it, it's going to have this here. Now notice it has this bit of black at the beginning. What I could do is I'm going to undo is if I double click first, we'll see the actual footage. And you see how it has this transition. This was just coming from archive.org. So say I want it to start at 4 seconds. I can use this little in point, and where I want it to stop, so I don't want it to fade out at the end, I just want to stop about here, I'm going to use this endpoint. And now when I drag and drop it onto the composition, we won't see that point that we'd cut out. And so the next step is to open up the tracker. And the tracker is located on the right-hand side in the windows, but if you don't see this here, go to Window and then Tracker, and you'll see it there. What I can then do is with my layer selected, do Track Camera. And it's going to analyze your image. And I'm going to, most of the time, the default that you have here is going to be totally fine, but just let it run through. It's going to analyze in the background. It might take longer. So this is pretty close to being done. And then it's going to solve it and attach little points throughout the video. And this is going to depend on the size of your video and how long it is. All right, so now it's done. That took another like 30 seconds. And now you'll see these little track points set throughout your footage. And when I scrub through it, and if I do effects, if I do preview on the side over here, set full. So you'll see that I'm scrubbing through it, and you'll see these appear moving forward. And so here we'll get them moving forward throughout the film. Now these should show up as you are going through and scrubbing through. If you don't, if you like click off of your effect, you won't see them anymore, but if you click on your effect, you'll see them. And then what you'll see is if I want it to attach at this house here, that as I'm going through, you'll see these targets come up. And what I want to do is click, and this is what happens when you click between targets, not on the target themselves, is when you see the one that you want around where you want it to be located, right click, and then do create null in camera. If you want to attach an image to it, you could create a solid or create text. And I'm going to create text in this image. And so now you'll see that this text has been created and it's attached to those particular points. And it's come in as a 3D layer. So I need to reposition this so it matches my footage here. So I'm gonna move this over here, move it around, and then I'm gonna go to scale and shrink it down. So go S, and let's just shrink it down a little bit. And let's actually change the word. So let's do house again, and you can change however you want it to be displayed. Make sure it's double clicked and then you can change it. So if I want that in that light format, now it'll stay back here. And now it'll be attached to that point. So when I zoom back out, we'll see it off in the distance there. Now, if you want it to be masked out at certain points, you're gonna have to go in and do some animation there, but you'll see as I get closer to it, it will stay there.